Boring, vanilla, buy-to-let properties, what are they and how do you make profit from them? If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I love boring, vanilla, buy-to-let, so much so that I even had a t-shirt made for it. So, what are they? A boring vanilla buy-to-let property is just that. It's boring, it's vanilla, and it's a rental property. Why do I call them boring vanilla buy-to-lets? Well, because they're foundational. It's literally the backbone of every property portfolio. And the thing is, I think in the property industry, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, everyone seems to have got obsessed with the get rich quick sort of thing going out there. And I think a lot of the big education gurus out there don't really help when they're talking about quit your job in 30 days, no money down deals, you can do it. And it's all bollocks, by the way. You absolutely cannot get into property with no money, and no, you're not going to quit your job in 30 days. And so with all these super sexy co-living HMO duplex souped up serviced accommodation strategies out there, I thought actually I'd like to be known for being boring. Yes, boring vanilla buy-to-let properties. Just so we're clear what a boring vanilla buy-to-let is, I am talking about your bread and butter near turnkey investment. You buy a property in a very strong capital growth area. You might do a bit of refurbishment to add a bit of value but make sure it's marketable for rent. You then rent it to a really high quality tenant and then you benefit from the cash flow and the capital growth. Very simple. Believe it or not, you will treble your initial investment within a decade. And I think a 200% return over a 10-year period is bloody good. So what are the core benefits? Well, I'm not going to go through cash flow and all of those sort of things because that's almost every property strategy. But the core of it is it has long-term foundation. So let's say service accommodation. And if you don't know what service accommodation is where you rent it out by the night. So you have a guest instead of a tenant. That's great. However, more and more restrictions are coming in because the hoteliers, the hotels all around. So for example, in London, you've got the 90-day rule. What do you think's going to happen in Leeds, Manchester, etc.? They're putting more and more pressure on governments to shut them down. It's not just in the UK, by the way, it's around the world. People don't really like it. On average, do you want, let's say you live in a block of flats, the flat next to you getting rented to 100 different people over a calendar year? Probably not. And so I like investing in things that are truly passive. I'm a big believer in your active income being active, such as my education business is an active income stream, my property packaging business, my management business, and then my investments being as passive as possible. Hence, boring, vanilla, buy-to-let properties. The second thing I really like is the reliability of the monthly cash flow. With other strategies, you can make more on monthly cash flow for sure, but I don't like the idea of making £1,000 profit one month and then the next month you've got to pay out £200. By the way, those are real numbers of a serviced accommodation that somebody bought to me. Great, real consistency. So for me, the key benefits are the fact that are buy-to-lets ever not going to be a thing? No. For as long as somebody needs to live in a property, boring, vanilla, buy-to-lets will be here. And the great thing is, in the UK, we're this tiny little island that we're legally allowed to build on 6% of, but we only build on 3% of. And the reason for that is there's only one thing us Brits get more pissed off at than property prices going through the roof, and that is allowing developers to build more properties on our land. Yes, we are fucking morons sometimes. The only thing that is ever going to satiate the crazy demand that we have on this island for property is allowing us to build a lot more. And when I say a lot more, I mean a lot more. We are currently at a 1 million unit housing shortage and we're getting more and more on a yearly basis. Some considerations and risks to look into. At the beginning of my property journey, I screwed up royally. So I was focusing on price rather than value, and nowadays I have this sort of terminology of price is what you pay, value is what you get. So back then I thought, right, if I can get discounts on properties, then it's going to be great. But thinking logically about a discount, you have got a problem in one of three three areas. Either there's a problem with the person's situation, i.e. they're financially screwed, etc. A problem with the property, like massive cracks, the roof is leaking, all of that sort of thing. Or there's a problem with the area. Now you might think, okay, so find out. Well, the issue is, number one, if there's a problem with the area, then there's still going to be a problem in the area 5 years from now, more than likely, unless it gets massively gentrified. The next thing is a problem with the property. Well, again, like I said, I like passive to be passive. And then if there's a problem with the person's situation, I have two problems with that. Is number one, I don't want to be an ambulance chaser. I don't want to be this person that's like, oh, somebody's got a personal situation, I'm going to rinse into that. I don't like that. But on top of that, you then need to find people that have a very specific problem that only you can solve. So it's not really a scalable model. So anyway, at the beginning of my journey, I built this portfolio up in the Northeast. Now, I'm not knocking the whole of the Northeast, but these were like the shitty mining villages where properties are 50 grand. They were 50 grand 10 years ago. They were 50 grand 20 years ago. They'll be 50 grand in 20 years. Just because property on average doubles every 10 years doesn't mean it happens in every area. I didn't know this. So I ended up building up a portfolio of, as I said, about 22 properties, and they were SHI shit properties. All right, because a shit area is a shit area. I actually got rid of the properties, made a loss on them. Well, to be fair, I'm probably broke even at the end of the day once I take account of my cash flow, but got rid of the portfolio and doubled down on West and South Yorkshire, which hands down has been one of the best pivotal strategic decisions in my life. So a great tip to give you is price is what you pay, value is what you get. If you invest in an amazing area, you will be looked after for the next couple of decades. By the way, if you want to invest in property, but you don't have the time, knowledge, the experience, or know-how on making this happen, we can help you build your portfolio. So if you've got some money, 50K or more to invest in property, comment APG, that stands for Aspire Property Group. I'll send you a link and you can have a free one-to-one consultation session with my team to see if we can help build your portfolio. So how can you successfully build your boring, vanilla, buy-to-let property portfolio apart from commenting APG below? Well, we follow something called Target, and this is our trademarked system, okay? So we've actually got the trademark on this, but I want to share it with you. The T is about the type of property. First of all, we only invest in 2 to 4 bed freehold houses, and that's because we want to buy something where people want to live. If you upsize, it's 2 to 4 bed. If you downsize, it's 2 to 4 bed. And the fact that families want to live there means the value is going to consistently go up, and high value and high attraction rents. Also freehold because we like actually owning the land the property's on. We don't want to own something that somebody else owns the access to. Freehold, not leasehold. The next is the area. We want a really solid area. It's got great logistics, great transport links, developments going on in the area that all point towards growth in that area. The next is R, regeneration. We want to know that the local government is investing in something. So a great example of this is Doncaster, where there's a huge development going on there right now. Massive jobs, thousands of delivery in there, and thousands of increase in housing need. What again this does is pushes up the local demand in the area and therefore the prices. The funny thing is, a lot of my builders are from the same area that I'm buying in, and they're like, it's a shithole, why would you buy there? That's crazy. It's like, the thing is, when you're local to an opportunity, you start missing the opportunity. But it is an amazing investment area due to the regeneration. Next is growth. I want to know that there's growth in the area. Now, the past doesn't guarantee the future, of course, but it is a good indication. Now, I don't look at the last 12 months because we had a market retraction, okay? So it contracted in, so it reduced pretty much in every area of the UK. However, I am looking for strong capital growth over the last 5 years. Take out the last 5 years because it's more of a correction in there. But if it's not got growth, then I ain't going near it. And again, you can go to some really rough areas that have got great yields, great rental income, but zero capital growth. And that is where you make your money, especially if you're leveraging. But we can talk more about that on the APG call with you. Next is the E, existing. I want to make sure it's an existing property. I'm going to make this black and white. Do not buy off plan property. If I can't see it, smell it and touch it, I ain't buying it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people exchange on a property that doesn't fucking fucking exist. You are buying air in the hope that there will someday be a property there, which sometimes there will be, sometimes there won't be, but I can near guarantee. In fact, I had an investor ignore my advice and they called me up literally 2 weeks ago asking if they can sell their property that still hasn't finished 1 year on, and it downvalued. Shock, horror, because you don't get them. You're paying for a future predicted price. Existing properties only. Did I go a bit fancy there? I think I did. Finally, of the T of target is your tenant type. I want a strong tenant type that's going to build a family there. I want them to make my house their home, increasing the predictability of rents, rental growth, and of course capital growth in the property. Last thing I'd give for a successful, boring, vanilla buy-to-let purchase is having the right power team. You need the solicitor, the broker, the financer, the insurance. You need a refurb team, project manager, and a lettings manager, and somebody to support you with the refinance. Not so passive, right? What it is, once you've got that team in place. So I've actually done a video on building your power team. So I've posted that recently. So make sure to go watch that one. But ultimately, if you want to go do that, surround yourself, get educated with the best people. Make sure you're watching these videos. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, make sure to hit the subscribe and the notification bell. And as I said, if you don't want to spend the time and energy building this power team to then build your portfolio, then we take care of absolutely everything. And if you've got 50k to invest or more, comment APG. I'll send you a link and you can book in a free one-to-one consultation session where we will help map out what your strategy should be all around boring, vanilla buy-to-let properties. Hit the like button if you got value and watch the next video.